Okay, very good. So I assume you can hear me, all right? And then I'm going to go from there, all right? Okay, very good. No idea what's happened today. Right, okay, let's start. So we're going to begin with the idea of HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chodeshim. So let me share my screen. Oh no, before I begin, I want to say the tefillah. One moment. Let me get that. All right. Here we are. And let me share that. All right. Okay. ריבון עולמים ואדוני אדונים, אף רחמן וסליחות, מודים אנחנו לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו, בקידה, בהשתחוויה, שקרבתנו לתורתך ולעבודתך עבודת הקודש, ונתת לנו חלק בסודות תורתך הקדושה, מה אנו ומה חיינו, אשר עשית עמנו חסד גדול כזה, על כן אנחנו מפילים תחנוננו לפניך, שתמחול ותסלח לכל חטאותינו ועוונותינו, ואל יהיו עוונותינו מבדילים בינינו לביניך, וכן יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו, שתכונן את לבבינו ליראתך ולבבך, ותקשיב אוזניך לדברינו אלה, ותפתח לבבינו הערל בסודות תורתך, ויהיה לימודנו זה נחת רוח, לפני כיסא כבודך כרך ניחוח, ותציל עלינו אור מקור נשמתנו בכל בחינתנו, שיתנוצצו ניצוצות עבודך הקדושים, אשר על ידם גלית דבריך אלה בעולם, וזכותם וזכות אבותם, וזכות תורתם ותמימותם וקדושתם, יעמוד לנו לבן כשל בדברים אלו, ובזכותם תהיה עינינו במה שאנו לומדים, כמאמנעים זמירות ישראל, גל עיני וביטה נפלאות מתורתך, כי אדוני תן חוכמה מפיו דעת ותבונה, יולרות צונים רפי, ויגון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי, אמן, כן יהי רצון. Okay, right. So I've absolutely no idea where everybody is today. I might have put something up wrong on the invitation or something, who knows. Right, let's start anyhow. I'm glad we're here together. So we want to start with, let me see if I can find it here. I got it ready. Yeah, here we are. I want to start with HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chodeshim. Okay, all right, so I can hear you now. So if you've got any questions, do speak up, all right? And just say you want, or call out, or raise your hand, or do something, okay? So on this Shabbat, we read the extra parsah, Parshat HaChodesh, and this is what it says. V'yomer Hashem el Moshe ve'el Aaron be'eretz Mitzrayim lemor. And God said to Moses and to Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, HaChodesh hazeh lachem rosh chodeshim. This month shall be for you the beginning of the months. Rishon hu lachem lechodshei hashana. It is the first for you of the months of the year. And actually, this is the very first mitzvah that the children of Israel are given. Okay, and then comes a whole series of mitzvot which apply to Pesach of Egypt and the Pesach of generations. So it begins with Rosh Chodeshim, Rishon hu lachem lechodshei hashana. So we need to actually find out a little bit more about what this particular mitzvah involves. All right? So we can get a idea by just carrying on with the text. All right? Dabu al kol adat Yisrael lemor, speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, Be'esol hachodesh hazeh on the 10th of this month, v'yikhu lahem ish seh lebeit avot seh lebayit, and they should take for themselves, each man, a lamb for the household, a lamb for each household. Now, what's the significance of taking a lamb? We have to know that the children of Israel, when they were in Egypt, worshipped idols. And one of the idols of the Egyptians was the lamb. So what they're actually being told to do is to take the idol which they worshipped, all right, okay, and they have to take it on the 10th of the month and keep it in the house. They tied it to the bed, all right, for 4 days, and then they're going to slaughter it for the Korban Pesach, all right. Said Tamim Zachar ben Shana Yelachem, a perfect male lamb of a year old, ben hakavasim min ha'izim tikach. You can take it either from the sheep or from the goats. Ve'alachem lemishmeret, you have to keep it. Ad 14 yom lechodesh hazeh, till the 14th day of this month. V'shachatu oto kol kahal adat Yisrael bein ha'arbaim, and they shall slaughter it, all the congregation of Israel, in the evening time. Okay, and not only that, v'lakchu min adam v'natnu al shtei hamezuzot v'al mashkof. They shall take from the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel, al abatim she'echlu oto bahem, where they are going to eat it. So what do they actually have to do? They have to take the idol, all right, which they were worshipping, which they got from the Egyptians, okay, and so they're worshipping it, and they are told to put it, take the blood and put it on the doorposts. Now this takes a tremendous amount of faith, all right. This isn't an easy thing to do. You've got to really show what that you're leaving go of the world of the Egyptians, and you're moving into a totally different frame of reference. Somebody's put something in the chat, which I didn't see. The wrong Zoom link went out for today. Oh, you're kidding me. Oy vavoy. How did that happen? Oh, Zissy, thank you so much. I thought something weird had happened. I used the previous week's. Like, if anything could possibly have gone wrong today, it went wrong. Oh, okay. Thanks, Sissy. Listen, let's just be together. I don't want to, start messing around with links. It'll go out on YouTube, and everybody will have to watch it on YouTube. All right. Okay, thanks, sweetie. Okie doke. All right. So the whole issue is an issue of faith. All right. Now, with that in mind, let's go back to HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chodeshim. This month shall be for you the beginning of the months. Rishon Hu Lachem Chodshei Hashana. It is the first one of the months of the year. Okay. I didn't think about that maybe I got the wrong link. Oh well. Kol Mishamayim Ba. I suppose what I could do, something, that's an idea. I can send out this link, copy invite link, and I could put it on the WhatsApp. Where is the WhatsApp gone? Oh, I see. Yeah, a lot of people say the link isn't working. All right. let's put that on at least one of them.
This is Peril. Hi. Thank you. You have to send a link to register first. I tried. I think the link only works after people are registered.
Oh dear. I'm awfully sorry about all this. I really had no idea that the wrong link went out, which is ridiculous. I'm sorry, everybody.
It's on a post from March 5th in Kav Connect Chevra. I was able to go back to that and register, and then I easily got into your meeting now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling me.
Sure. Thank you so much for your
It's
class.
just one of those weeks when absolutely everything goes wrong. Never mind. What else? I'll stick it on this one. Right. Okay. Now then, let's go back to where we are. All right. Whoever's meant to be here, whoever gets here is meant to be here. It's all mishamayim. Thanks, Zissy, for pointing all this out. And thank you, Pearl. Oh, all right. Never mind. So let's go to now. Where did I put all this? Here. This month. Okay.
Hello.
So this is some beautiful writing of Rabbi Ashlag's, which I actually found from my Haggadah. I don't know if you can see this. Oh no, you can't. I need to share it. Share. All right. Let me zoom in. All right, here we go. החודש הזה לכם. Here's everybody coming now. Okay. החודש הזה לכם ראש חודשים. This month shall be for you the beginning of months. Inyan chidush, what does it mean? The word chodesh, which is a month, is also the word chidush, which means something new. Okay? Nikra davar shasechel lo machayev liot kach. It's something which the mind does not oblige us for like a mind is not something that's beyond our mind. Okay? Something that we can't think logically about, think rationally. If we think it logically or rationally, we can't get to it. Okay? So what is it about? Something new, chidush. What is Moshe Rabbeinu teaching the children of Israel? He's teaching them the aspect of faith. He's called Raya Mehimana, the shepherd of faith. That's his title in the Zohar, because the result he's actually bringing is a new way of functioning, and that's the functioning of faith. Okay? In Ken, Yesh Lishol Sheila, so we need to ask the question, Ma'u Kana Chidush, Ad Shenikar Rosh Chidushim. What is this new matter that is designated as the first of all new matters? Okay? So the aspect of faith is something that we give, whereas knowledge is something we receive. The way of work and the way of in the proper way, in the true way, is even though a person is born with selfish love, and with his will to receive himself alone, and this comes from his desire to give goodness to the created beings. Nevertheless, he needs to do the opposite of his nature. So that all his work needs to be focused on what will serve God, not for his own self-use. Okay? ושיהיה לאדם אפשרות כזו, and that a person should have that possibility, זהו חידוש גדול. This is something which is really new. עד כדי כך שאמרו חז"ל, to the extent that the sages said, הביאם עלי הקדוש ברוך הוא עוזרו, אינו יכול לו. Unless the Holy Blessed One helped him, he can't do it. So now do you see why the mitzvah, chodesh hazeh lachem rosh chodeshim, this new month, this month needs to be the first of the new things, the aspect of faith, okay? They have to have that mitzvah first before they can take the lamb. Do you see what I'm saying? All right? Well, there's two things in the chat now. It says, okay, I'm sorry. All right, everybody, sorry about the wrong links. Okay, I had to re-download Zoom today, and that might have been why all that got messed up. Never mind. Let's keep going with this. So faith, okay. Now, what actually is faith? Moses had a lot of difficulty, okay, as we know, when God said to him, "Chodesh hazeh lechem rosh chodeshim, kazeh titkadesh." This is how you need to sanctify the month. Moses had a lot of difficulty with this, okay, because when the moon, which is likened to the Shekhinah, is so minimal, all right, we can hardly see it, all right. That's how we have to lekadesh chodesh. That's how we have to lekadesh our work for God. That's how we have to sanctify our work for God when it's hardly there, when it's minimal, all right? Is there such a thing? Okay, and one would think that what we would need to sanctify is actually when we're doing something, when we can do it, when we can show what we're doing, when it feels good and it's all shining, okay? That's the aspect we would think we would need to sanctify. And Moses was very surprised when God shows him, no, when the moon is hardly there, and the moon is the physical branch, the root of which is the Shekhinah. So when the Shekhinah is hardly shining, when it's hardly there at all, when we've hardly got any faith at all, kazeh titkadesh, okay? That's how we need to sanctify, all right? And that's something new. It's the opposite completely of what you would think, all right? So if we start off with our selfish love, that's how we're born, with our will to receive for ourselves alone, which comes from our created nature. It comes from the fact that God desires to give goodness to the created beings, okay? So we want to receive pleasure and joy, we want to receive certainty, and instead of that, we need to do the exact opposite. Take all our energy, take all our personalities and all our talents, and use it only for unconditional giving, without looking to see what we're going to get for ourselves at all. And that a person should have such a possibility to be able to be a giver. That's a chidush gadol. That's something really new, okay? But can you see, it really is the beginning of freedom. It's the beginning of freedom, because we're no longer bound by our created nature. We're no longer bound by our limits. We're no longer bound by our personalities or our childhoods or our cultural conditioning or any of that stuff. It's the possibility of moving in a totally different paradigm, and that's true freedom, okay? So this is the beginning of freedom. Ad kekach amru, but it's so very new to us that the sages said, "Im alei HaKadosh Baruch Hu ozro eino yachol lo." Unless the Holy Blessed One helps us to this, we can't do it. We can't get beyond our created nature, which is our personality, our ego, whatever you want to call it. Okay? And so when the people of Israel were enslaved to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, now that's then 3,000 years ago, and it's also now. Oh dear, these noises are terrible. Oh, it's just an aeroplane, I think. That the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, is the it's very scary. Huh? Do you think it's just an aeroplane? I think it's an aeroplane. There's no siren, is there? Oh dear. Okay, so when the people of Israel were enslaved to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, Pharaoh is the Pharaoh within ourselves, our will to receive for ourselves alone. My will to receive myself alone right now is quiet. That's what I really want. Okay? So when the people of Israel were enslaved to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, the Pharaoh within ourselves, which is our own ego, the one within ourselves who says, who is God, that I should listen to his voice. That's mitzvah teva. That's the rational part within ourselves. That's the natural part within ourselves. Well, let's take mishibud hazeh, and to come forth from this servitude, katuv, it's written, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am the Lord your God, Asher hotzeiticha mi'eretz Mitzrayim, who takes you out from the land of Egypt. V'zeu nikra Rosh HaChodeshim, and that is what is called the beginning of everything new, that God helps take us out from our own boundaries, from our own natural desires to receive benefit for ourselves without looking at anybody else. Okay? So Rosh is the beginning, Hatchala v'shoresh, the beginning and the root, L'kol hachidushim, of all new things. Kamo she'amru Chazal, as the sages said, B'kol yom iyu be'inecha k'chadashim. Every day, let this fact be in your eyes as new. Hainu b'kol yom tzrichim la'geh lidei chidush. Every day we need to get to this new understanding, this new way of being, this way of giving in faith, this way that God himself can take us out of our own limits, out of our own Pharaoh, out of our own Egypt, okay? And bring us to be giving unconditionally in affinity form with him. Okay? Kamo shekatuv, as it's written, Asher onochi mitzavcha hayom, as I'm commanding you today. But the first beginning is in the coming out forth from Egypt. And just like everything needs preparation, also coming forth out of Egypt also needs preparation. And this preparation is in this way, that first they needed to really see how lowly they really got. The 49 gates of uncleanness. Until the Supreme King of Kings revealed himself to them, and redeemed them, Kamosh Katav Ari HaKadosh, as the Holy Ari explained. So what is actually happening? What's actually happening is, from the very beginning, Rosh Chodesh Hazeh, Rosh Chodeshim, okay, that very first mitzvah. Then they're given the mitzvot of the Korban Pesach, okay, which we began to look at, and we saw that you need faith to do the mitzvah of the Korban Pesach, all right? And then they get the mitzvah of letting go of chametz, of getting rid of all the chametz, all right? And the matzot, the chametz, the bitter herbs, you get all the mitzvot of the Korban Pesach, all right? And as you do mitzvah after mitzvah after mitzvah, what's actually happening? A person is getting more and more light. And what's happening as you get more and more light, what really is happening is you see more and more of the dark within yourself. Okay? And so it says that they sank down to the 49th level of Tum'ah. It wasn't that they had suddenly went boom to the bottom. It was that they could suddenly see it. All right? And when you can see it, you're like, I don't want to be here. And that's what gave them the desire to get out of Egypt, to get out of that Egypt and to want redemption. Okay? So when we actually can see how lowly we really are, that gives us the impetus to want redemption, to ask God to deliver us and ask God to take us out of our own personal Egypt, our own personal Pharaoh. Okay? And he says here, Rabbi, I'm sorry, this is all, I should have said, this is all from Rabbi Baruch Shalom. להגיע למדרגה זו, לראות את המצב האמיתי, and to reach this level, to see that our true state, שבו נמצאים, in which we are in, הרבה יגיעה בתורה ועבודה. We actually need to do a lot of work in Torah and trying to serve God, לראות את האמת, and then we can see the truth, איך שמשובדים לפרעה, how we are enslaved to our own inner Pharaoh. And what's our own inner Pharaoh? Our own inner Pharaoh wants to work only with rationale, okay? There's also an aspect of Pharaoh which is called Pera, the evil Malchut. Is like the evil side of the... What is the Malchut? Malchut is governance, our decision, how we want to be speaking, thinking, and acting. What we decide. Are we going to decide in accordance with God's, the Torah and mitzvot, or are we going to decide to just be in accordance with our own wills to receive for ourselves alone? Okay. So when we see the truth, how we are very much subjugated to our own ego, to our own Pharaoh, okay, then we can start to want the redemption. All right, so in order to reach this level of redemption, we first need to see the truth. ולפי ערך הכלי, and according to the desire of the vessel, the lack, so we will be rejoicing when we get the joy of redemption. So he says here, לפי ערך הכלי, according to how much we see the lack, how much darkness we see within ourselves, to the same measure we will rejoice in the redemption, because we will feel the measure of separation from God and the suffering that causes us. אבל אי אפשר להגיע לידי הרגשת הגלות בלי מעשים של תורה ועבודה ותפילה. But we can't actually feel how separate we really are unless we first try to do some work of Torah and service and prayer, and then we get Yitaron ha'or min ha'choshech. And then, because the light needs to come forth from the darkness, and unless we've done some work and brought some light, we can't actually feel the darkness. All right? We all know times in our lives when we've not been very open to Torah and mitzvot, okay? And then we just thought we were fine, okay? We were just using our ego, and we were just doing whatever we wanted to do. And we never thought anything about it. Just seemed quite normal. All right? It's only when you begin to work with Torah and mitzvot, you begin to get some light, they begin to question, is this really normal? That I feel so separate. It's actually the feeling people say to me, I feel so separated from God, something must be wrong. And I actually think, no, if you're already feeling separated from God, that's already progress. then you're already aware of exile. And when you're aware of exile, you can pray for redemption. It's when you're not aware that you're in exile, but very unaware of it. That's the real problem. Okay, so to be able to feel that darkness is absolutely a new thing and a wonderful thing, because then we can long for the redemption. As it's written, because the light shines brighter when it comes from the darkness. So the first feeling that a person has, that he has light, begins from the perception and feeling of the darkness. And without that, we don't feel any spiritual lack. But the ordinary lacks that we feel and we're sorry about are lacks of selfish desires. And this is in the meaning of this month should be to you, this beginning should be to you, this new aspect should be to you, the beginning of all new aspects. Okay? The aspect of being able to get out of our will to receive for ourselves alone, the aspect of being able to use faith instead of knowledge, okay? And that will bring us the Kovata Pesach. And that comes before the offering up of Pesach and of the Pesach sacrifice. Okay, all right, that was the first bit we wanted to learn. Right, let's find the other bit.
You're recording this, aren't you?
I'm so sorry, what did you say?
Are you recording this?
It's going on YouTube.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. This is so good. I don't want to miss it. But...
Okay, yeah, it's going out on YouTube, so we should be okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm right. So here's another one. Let me just get a little bit bigger. There we go. Rabbi Baruch Shalom wrote a few times on this issue. Okay, so again, this month should be for you the beginning of the months. Upireish Rashi, and Rashi explained, Nitkashem shel molad halavana. Moses had a great deal of difficulty on saying how exactly are we meant to sanctify the moon, because the moon is the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah is likened to the moon. What measure does it need to be seen, and that is how we should sanctify it. And God showed him with his finger the tiny little moon in the firmament, and he said to him, like that. See it, like that you should sanctify it. And the sages asked, why was it so difficult for Moses, the issue of how to sanctify the moon? And what does it mean that God had to show him with his finger? What does that mean? And my father and teacher of blessed memory said, the Levana, the moon, is the hint on the Malchut. What is the Malchut? Us, the consciousness of the human being, and all our consciousnesses together, okay, all the souls of Israel together, form the Shekhinah. So the Malchut and the Shekhinah is the same thing, all right? And the moon is likened to that. It's like the physical representative, if you like. And what we just learnt is, how does the Malchut need to function? By taking upon itself the governance of heaven. All right? Now, instead of being governed by our own impulses, by our own desires, by our own wills to receive for ourselves alone, we need to be governed by what God wants. שהקשה למשה, and this was very difficult for Moses. איך להגיד לעם ישראל שיקבלו להם עול מלכות שמיים? How can I say to the children of Israel they should take upon themselves the governance of heaven בזמן שהם מרגישים הסתרה, at the time when God's light is hidden? Right? What does the new moon signify? It signifies when God's light is hidden from us. והשכל מחייב, and one's intelligent would say, שאילו היה בא לעם ישראל שקבלו עליהם מלכות שמיים עם איזה גיבוי אלוקות, that if one were to come to the children of Israel and tell them they should take on the governance of heaven when they can have a revelation of godly light, אז יש מקום לדבר איתם, then there's a place you can talk to them. אבל אם הכוונה שצריך לקדש על הבנה שלא בזמן המילוי, but if we need to sanctify the Shekhinah, our work for God, when it's tiny, when the light is hidden from us, when we don't know what we're doing, אלא בעת המולד, when it's just a tiny little bit, שעוד לא ניכר איך שהיא מקבלת אור השמש, we don't still yet know how we're going to receive the light of God, אינו מאירה, it's not shining, זה הזמן שצריכים לקדש אותה? That's when we dafka have to sanctify this work? I mean, if for example we're told we need to work in faith, okay, and straight away we get some sort of stamp, okay, that this is working, this is a good thing to do, that we get, a reward straight away, then we wouldn't have any problem. We'd all work in faith. We'd all be giving, and we're doing mitzvot, and we're doing working in faith. We wouldn't have a difficulty, because when we do the work, and straight away we get a reward. That's not that somebody's talking about. He's talking about like working in faith when there's hardly anything there. אלא פירוש העניין הוא. But the answer is, שאדם צריך לקבל על עצמו עול מלכות שמיים על בחינה נמוכה ביותר. That the person needs to take upon himself the yoke of the governance of heaven on the smallest possible level. ולאמר עליה, and to say about it, אצלי, אפילו המצב הזה, by me, even this state, שאין עוד אפשרות שיש שפלות יותר גדולה, which I feel is so lowly, because I'm doing things and I don't know why I'm doing them, and I don't seem to be getting anywhere with it, and I'm trying to keep in faith, and I'm falling down all the time, and I don't get anything for it. It doesn't look as if I'm getting anywhere with it. All right, that's what he's talking about. Kazel Kadesh, that's the place to sanctify. And there's no obvious reward there at all. It's completely beyond our rationale and our experience. He's getting no support from our mind or from our feeling, on which he can build his faith. And he seems to be tottering, between heaven and earth. He's got no ground to stand on. As hakol lamala ma'adat, and that is where we are actually in faith. That's what faith feels like. And he says that God sent him this situation, that he finds himself in the ultimate of lowliness. That's because the Holy Blessed One wants him to be like that. He wants it like that. That I take upon myself the governance of heaven, even in this lowly place when the light of God is hidden from me. Okay? Nevertheless, I agree. ואני מקבל, where's it gone? I've lost that plate. Where's the... אני מקבל על עצמי, here we are, this piece here. Can you see it? Let me see if I can move this along. View. There, it's this here on the right, okay? Alatzmi. Mishum shani ma'amin lamala ma'adat. And I take this upon myself because I believe and faith above knowledge. Shamatzav shebo ani nimtza achshav ze ba li mitzat Hashem. That the situation which I'm in right now comes to me from God. Hainu sh'Hashem רוצה שאני אראה המצב הכי שפל שאפשר להיות בעולם. That God wants that I should see the situation, even though I'm seeing it and I don't know what I'm doing and I feel so lowly. מכל מקום, אני צריך להגיד שאני מאמין בהשם. Nevertheless, I have to say that I believe in God, בכל אופנים, also in this state. וזה נקרא אצלי כניעה ללא תנאי. And this is considered like I just give to God without any conditions. זאת אומרת שאדם לא אומר לקדוש ברוך הוא. That it's not a situation when a person says to God, אם תיתני הרגשה טובה, if you give me a good feeling, שאני ארגיש, that I can feel שמלא כל הארץ כבודו, that the whole world is filled of his glory, אני מוכן להאמין, and then I'm prepared to believe. That's not the situation. We have to, what the state that Moses is telling us to sanctify, this first commandment is when I don't feel that. Dafka when I'm feeling that I don't have any feeling. I don't have any spiritual feeling. Okay? All right? Nevertheless, I'm willing to take upon myself the yoke of the government's heaven and to keep the Torah and mitzvot, okay, and therefore to keep Torah and mitzvot without any conditions.
Yedida,
yeah.
I feel like I'm going through this every day now.
Absolutely.
I really do. Every day
Yeah.
I'm going through this in my mind. This is perfect timing.
Yeah. Me as well. I can't begin to tell you. We've got one of these interceptor things just on the hill opposite my window.
Right.
And I can't begin to tell you how scary it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so scared.
Every day.
And I'm walking and I'm going from belief to fear to anxiety to belief to fear to anxiety, and I can't hold on to anything.
Right.
And that's where I am.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah, it's so scary. I mean, we just had this very loud rumble of an aeroplane, and I'm holding onto the wall because it's so loud. I have no idea what it is.
You have to have
It's just like, God, everything is coming from you. It's all coming from you. It is so, and at the same time, your body is telling you something, very different. I'm trying to hold on to my connection with God and giving faith, and at the same time, your body is like, it's so difficult. Yeah. So this is exactly perfect. Okay. וזה שנתקשה משה, and this is what Moses had difficulty with. איך הוא יכול לבוא לעם ישראל בחינת שפלות כזאת? How can he come to the children of Israel with this message when they're suffering? They're in Egypt. They don't know what's going to be. Okay. וזה הראה לו באצבע, and this is what God showed him with his finger. ואמר לו, כזרע עבד וקדש. Like this, you need to see it and sanctify. היינו בחינת לבנה בזמן המולד. The aspect of the Shekhinah when she's just been born. There's hardly any faith there at all. Okay? All right? And we don't have any ground to stand on, and we don't have any feeling of God's light is filling the world. And we're just like shaking, all right? שעוד לא ניכר במעלתה, when its value, when its beauty is not yet recognized. ודווקא על ידי קבלת מלכות שמיים בבחינת שפלות, and if we receive the governance of heaven from this lowly place, יתגלה אחר כך על בסיס זה, will be revealed subsequently on this basis, מה שאמרו ז"ל, what the sages said, וזה לשונם, אמר רבי אלעזר said, עתיד הקדוש ברוך הוא לעשות מחול לצדיקים, In the future, the Holy Blessed One will make a dance for the righteous, and he's sitting among them, Gan Eden, in the Garden of Eden, and everyone can point to God with his finger. And he says on that day, here is our God. We hoped for him and he will save us. This is God who we've hoped for. We will rejoice and be happy in his salvation. Okay, so we start off from this very, very difficult, scary place where we can't feel our faith, we can't feel the light of God, we can't feel anything except our wills to receive, and to come all the way back and back and back and back to accepting the governance of heaven. Okay, and we just keep doing it and doing it and doing it because you can't hold on to it. You do it, you lose it. You do it, you lose it. You do it, you lose it. And that's what it's like all the time. And this is the hint that HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed Moses with his finger, the aspect of the Shekhinah when it's hidden, like this, when it's hidden, when you can't see the light. We merit through this, that every single one of us will be able to point with our finger and say, Hinei Eloheinu zeh. Here is our God. Wow, Bezrat Hashem. Okay, now we have another 20 minutes or something. I got ready beautiful piece from Pikudei, from the Zohar, which I do think is actually connected. So let me just find that. Okay. Oh dear. Wait a minute. I didn't mean to do that. I do cancel. I didn't mean to. Oh no! Don't say I've lost the piece I'm looking for. Oh dear. I'm not doing very well today. Wrong link, and I think I just closed the piece that I needed. Never mind, I can find it again. Oh, yeah, Didosh. Here it is. Right. Oh, it even opened at the right page. Well, there you go. So let's do new share. And I'm going to, there you are, make it a bit bigger. Maybe that's a bit too big. There we are. So the Aramaic is at the top and the Hebrews at the bottom. And this is a beautiful piece from Pikudei. Okay, we've got two sidras this week, Vakhel and Pikudei. So we'll do Pikudei. V'tachazi b'zimna dit banei bei mikdasha v'tavid et kaf yasitra achra v'istalek me'olma v'kad istalek me'olma v'tkam mishkana al yadad Moshe v'dekin itkam le'ela v'tata k'moshe katuv v'yakom Moshe et hamishkan mai v'yakom ela de'okim la listalka le'ela le'ela v'alda v'yakom Moshe man d'hava me'ech okimiha k'man de'okim leman de'nafil k'gav nada לזמנה דעתי כתיב אקים את סוכת דוד הנופלת. Come and see. בזמן שנבנה בית המקדש ונעשה, at the time when the temple is built and is made, נכנע סטרא אחרא, the other side, the will to see for oneself alone, the ego, the pharaoh, whatever you want to call it, okay, is subdued. V'nistalek min ha'olam, and leaves our consciousness. V'nistalek min ha'olam, and when it leaves the world, v'nivnei mishkan al yedei Moshe, and the Mishkan is built by Moses. As hukam lemala u'lemata, then it is erected both above and below. So let's just focus for a second what it's actually saying. Okay, if we take the Zohar says we need to take every single thing that it's telling us as happening within ourselves. Okay, So the Beit HaMikdash is built, okay, and the will to receive oneself alone is left. What does that mean? We built the Beit HaMikdash within us. In other words, we started from when that little tiny bit of Shekhinah was present, and then gradually, we're building the vessel for faith within ourselves from that tiny beginning. Gradually, we build it up, okay, and that would be a full vessel, and that's the Mishkan within ourselves, the dwelling place for God within ourselves, and it's built through Moses. Who's Moshe? The aspect of faith within us, okay? As hukam lamalul mata, then it's erected both above and below. Above in the spiritual worlds and also here in our consciousness here. V'zeh shekatuv v'yakom Moshe et hamishkan. Ma v'yakom. What does it mean? And Moses erected the Mishkan. Hikim ota. He raised up the Malchut. So what's the Malchut? The Shekhinah. That she would go up above. And what does that mean? Able to be giving, because lamala is giving and lamata is receiving. Up is giving, below is receiving. And therefore the scripture says Vayakom Moshe, and Moses erected it, raised it up. Mishaya shafel hikim, what was lowly he raised it up. Like somebody who raises up, somebody who's fallen down. And this is written for the time to come. Akim et sukkah David hanufelet, that God will raise up the sukkah of David which is fallen down. Shin Ayin Aleph. כתיב, נפלה לא תוסיף קום בתולת ישראל. מה לא תוסיף קום? אלא בזמנה אחרא קמת. היא קמת מגרמה, ולא הקימה לה קודשא בריך הוא. דהה בגדלותא דמצרים, קודשא בריך הוא הקים לה. ועבד כמה ניסים, בגין להוקמה לה. ובגלותא דבבל הוא לא הקים לה, בגין דלא עבד לו ניסים, דגרים אחריו. אלא היא קמה וסליקו בני גולה, כנון דלא הווה לון פרוקה, ולא הווה תעובתא דקודשא בריך הוא עליהו, בגין דגרם הוא חובה, דינון נשים נוכריות. And it's written, she fell down, and she won't get up again. She won't get up again. Betulat Israel, the Virgin of Israel. Well, wait a minute, where is it? What does it mean? Ma'u lo tosif kum. What does it mean she won't get up again? Umeshiv ela bizman acher kama. But in another time she did get up. She kama me'atzma. She got up on her own. V'lo hikim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it wasn't the Holy Blessed One who raised her up. Ki bagalut Mitzrayim, because in the exile of Egypt, which is the archetype, okay, of all the exiles, Hikim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy Blessed One, raised her up. It was God who takes, and it is God who takes us out of our own Egypt. And did different miracles in order to raise her up. Bagalut Bavel HaKadosh Baruch Hu lo hikima. In the exile of Babylonia, the Holy Blessed One didn't raise her up. Ki lo asa lehem nisim, he didn't make any miracles for them. Shegaram achet, ela shehi malchut kama me'etzma. There was a sin, but the Malchut got up from herself, on her own, from her own desire. V'alu b'nei Gola Yerushalayim, and the exiles came up to Jerusalem. Ki'ilu lo hayta lehem geula, but it was as if they weren't actually really redeemed. So what does it mean? What is Gola, exile, and what is Geula? The difference is the Aleph, the connection with the One. All right? Why did they say that they weren't connected with God? Lo hayta lehem hishtokakut lakadosh baruch hu. They didn't have any desire for God. Mishum shegaram achet shenashim nachriot. They caused the sin of the Gentile women. Now, what does that mean? Doesn't mean, well, it probably does mean in those days that they marry Gentile women. But what it means for us nowadays is that the woman in Kabbalah is the will to receive. The Nochriot is the will to receive for oneself alone, which is a stranger. It gets estranged from God. So it seems to be is that the redemption from the second temple, when they came to build the second temple, was they had mixed motives. All right, so it wasn't a pure deciding for God. They had their wills to receive for themselves alone still mixed in. Okay? All right? But what does he say here? Shin Ein Bet ועל דא קודש ברוך הוא לא הקים לכנסת ישראל ולא עבד לה ניסים וגבורים בהו זימנה כדקאיות. אבל לזימנה דעתי לא תוסיף קום כתיב ולא תוסיף קום מגורמה אלא קודש ברוך הוא יקים לה. דכתיב הקים את סוכת דוד הנופלת. וכתוב את דוד מלכם אשר הקים להם, בגין כך כתיב הכה ויקום משה את המשכן ויקום משה. ועל כן הקודש ברוך הוא לא הקים את כנסת ישראל ולא עשה לה ניסים וגבורות כראוי בזמן ההוא. And that's the reason was because they still were holding on to their wills to receive for themselves alone. Okay, so it wasn't like a clean desire for God. They were still holding on. Okay, so that's why it says the Holy Blessed One did not raise up Knesset Israel and did not make for her miracles and mighty acts, as is fitting at that time when they came back from Babylonia. But in the future, which we're coming up to now, okay, V'lo tosif kum kativ, when she will not get up, it's written, and shlo tosif kum me'atzma, she won't get up on her own again, como achagalut Bavel, like it was after the exile in Babylonia. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu yakim ota, but the Holy Blessed One will raise her up, like will do for us miracles, okay, and we will have a clean connection with him. Because it's written, Akim et Sukkah David hanofelet. I will raise up the Sukkah of David, which is fallen down. V'katuv ve'et David malkam asher akim lahem, and David their king, which I will raise up for them. Umishum zeh, because of this, it is written, Kan vayakom Moshe et hamishkan, and Moses erected the Mishkan. What's the Mishkan? The Malchut. Vayakom Moshe. Dahainu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Hikim et HaMishkan. Well, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu raises up the Mishkan. The Mishkan is the Malchut. Well, the Shekhinah. Ki Moshe hi merkava lezer anpin. Moses is the vehicle for zer anpin. Moshe hikim et HaMishkan lamata. So just as Moses raises up the Mishkan from below, which is the Malchut, Ken hikim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mishkan shua Malchut lamala. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu raises up the Malchut, the Mishkan, from above. Kamosh yitba'er v'holech. Okay? As he continues to say. So we can do like one more. Tachazi, kad ukim le Moshe le Mishkana. It kam Mishkana achra amei, Mishkana ila'a. Ukim v'sa'id kulo, begin the Mishkana ila'a. Satim v'ganiz ihu le'ela le'ela. Mishkana achra, it kam al Mishkana delatata, v'kaima alei, v'chela dehu Mishkana ala al kulo. V'kama it kam Mishkana delatata al yada de Moshe, uv'hachi le'ela al yadei dahu daga de Moshe. מנהלן דכתיב ויקום משה את המשכן עד דייקה להתאחזה דתרי משכנה ברז דמשה יתקנו. בואו, come and see. כשהקים משה את המשכן, when Moses restored the משכן, הוקם משכן אחר, עמו he raised up the משכן, erected the משכן, I said it wrong. The other Mishkan is raised up also, What is that? The Malchut. The Malchut is the Shekhinah. Every single one of us is a Malchut, and every single one of us joins together to make the Malchut, the Shekhinah. Mishkan Elyon, and the higher Mishkan, the sanctuary above, She Bina, which is Bina, Mekim Tomech Hakol, holds up everything. Mishum Mishkan Elyon, because the higher Mishkan, Usatum Vaganuz Lamala Lamala, is hidden away very, very high. Mishkan Achesh Malchut, who come ala Mishkan Shalamata, and the Malchut is rectified by the Mishkan below, Shasa Moshe, and that's what Moses made. And erects it with the strength of the higher Mishkan, which is over everything, which is Bina. And just as the lower Mishkan was erected by Moses, Afkach Lamala, the Hainu Malchut, so is above the Malchut, who come alidehu, which is raised up by the level of Moshe, which is Zerampin. Me'ein lanu, where do we know this from? Ki katuv vayakom Moshe et hamishkan, because it says, and Moses raised up et, the word et, what's et? Aleph taf, the Malchut, the Mishkan. Etu b'diuk, shu malharot sheshnei mishkanot nitkanu b'sod Moshe, that show that two sanctuaries were erected through Moshe, Shema Mishkan l'shelamata, the one below, the Mishkan shelamala, the sanctuary above, which is the Malchut, shenitkan gamkein aledei madrigat Moshe shu Zerampin, which is rectified through the level of Moshe, which is Zerampin, and that whole thing is supported by the Mishkan we can't see or have awareness of, which is Bina. So what do we learn from all of this? We learn from all of this that we're starting with HaChodesh Hazeh Lechem Rosh Chodeshim, the first mitzvah, which is the beginning of faith, okay, eventually comes to build a whole sanctuary. That's what he's telling us. We start off with that very first mitzvah where we feel so rocky and so don't know and so falling down and so uncertain, and everything is hidden from us and we can't see the light of God. But eventually, if we just keep going with that giving, with that way that Moshe is teaching us from that very first mitzvah, we can that way build the Mishkan. What's the Mishkan? The dwelling place for God within ourselves. Okay? Until it reaches a full vessel. Okay? Which would be the perfect vessel. And that will be erected both within us, our consciousness here, and that also affects the higher consciousnesses of the Shekhinah in the higher worlds above. Okay, so here we got, I think, like the two opposite ends, the very beginning and the fulfillment. Okay, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so sorry about the wrong link. I've had so much difficulties with the computer. It's just driving me bonkers, and I must have pressed the wrong button or something.
Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody. So good.
Thank you, Yehuda, and we're still.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you so much.
Vakhel, look after yourself, me darling girlie.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, love.
You gave us something to hang on to.
Yeah, absolutely. Bezrat Hashem.
Stay safe.
All right. you
Shabbat
too, my
Shalom.
darling.
May
Okay,
God
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.